Oh look, they have a triangle column.
I guess that's for warning the monkeys to come here.
Maybe it's for warning you to not be a monkey.
Just to call them and say it's meal time.
What a dog in the water.
Guys, look at him. He's
Oh look, Jude.
Last time they couldn't pay anything to get in the water.
No, don't float.
Look at, he's swimming in. Whoa, he's an awesome swimmer.
I'll get you guys at the end, give you a better chance to get the picture.
Wow, the monkeys are good swimmers.
He's angry.
Alright, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to Monkey Jungle's Wild Monkey Swimming Pool. My name's John. The kind of monkeys you guys are looking at right now are called Java Macaques, and they're also known as crab-eating macaques. Now they get that first name Java because they all originate from the island of Java, which is just off the coast of Southeast Asia. And they get that second name crab-eating because their natural diet would include some shellfish like crayfish and crab. And although every species of monkey is physically capable of swimming, most of them have just learned to hate the water and try to avoid it at all costs. And like I said, because these guys have found some food sources that swim, you're looking at a species that's become more than comfortable to the point they'll actually hold their breath underwater for about 45 seconds at a time. And the reason we have these monkeys here at Monkey Jungle is because the founder of our park, whose name was Joseph Dumont, he wanted to study the social structure of these animals, so way back in 1933, he imported 6 of them over from Southeast Asia, and he just let them run wild here on about 7 acres of land, which is real similar to their natural environment. We're all at Monkey Jungle today, and it's been almost 80 years from that point. These monkeys still live on the same 7 acres as they did in the 30s. However, the original 6 have since multiplied into about 115. What Joseph Dumont wanted to study specifically about their social structure is what's known as the dominance hierarchy, also known as a pecking order. That means that every troop of monkeys will have an alpha male. He's going to be the leader and the most dominant animal in the group. Underneath him is going to be a slightly less dominant monkey number 2. Under him, a less dominant 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down the list to the lowest ranked member of each troop. Our alpha male of this troop isn't out here yet. His name is Clyde. If he shows up, I'll be sure to point him out to you, but it's really only about a third of his group here, so he's probably off with the bigger chunk of them, fulfilling his duties as the alpha male. Now, those duties basically revolve around maintaining social order within his troop. So that would mean if any of these little low-ranking monkeys step out of line, it's up to that alpha male to put them back in their place. Kind of similar to that, if there's a fight within the troop and it escalates to a real serious level, it is in the alpha male's best interest to break the fight up, and it's also his job to lead the troop against any outside aggressors. Now, those could be predators, or that could even just be a different troop of monkeys. Don't feel too bad for Clyde, though, because with all that responsibility does come great reward. The alpha male is the first choice of everything in their life, from where they want to sit or stand or sleep or walk, all the way to what the alphas are after. They do get the first choice of all the food and all of the females. Other ranks will start from birth through what's known as the maternal association, or who their mother is. So if there's a high-ranked female and she gives birth, her offspring are automatically born into a high-ranking status. And then on the other end of that deal, low-ranking females give birth to low-ranking monkeys. After that, the next thing that will determine that little monkey's rank are his political alliances. So who his friends are and how many of those friends he has is really going to play a major role in his rank. It's going to be the juveniles you'll see today doing most of the wrestling and roughhousing around, which you'll probably think looks pretty similar to human horseplay sometimes. But it's a little bit more serious than that. These monkeys will make and break lifetime friendships at a very, very young age. Now, as the males get older, they're going to want to gain more access to both food and females. Unfortunately for them, they're going to have to earn those rights. Now, they can either do that by trying to win the respect of more male troop members, basically making some new friends that might allow them the access they're looking for, or they do what most of them do, go the opposite route and just try to fight everybody and take it. It is possible for lower-ranked males to defeat higher-ranked ones, and if they do, they'll assume that male's position in the hierarchy. In order to do that, though, they would need to have the most of the following 3 qualities. First, they would need greater physical strength. Second, they would need more support from their fellow male troop members. And third, they need to be accepted by more of the females in their troop. Now, the other way the ranks can change real drastically real quick is if somebody overthrows the alpha male. Not only then would Clyde, for example, in this troop be forced to assume a subordinate position below the new one, there's really no way a new alpha male could reach that position by himself. His alliances would be right underneath him when he got to the top. So in turn, it wouldn't be unusual at all to see Clyde go tumble down the list and then become one of the lowest ranked animals in his whole troop. Another social aspect of their lives you guys might see them engaging in today is a behavior known as grooming. And most people are actually under a false impression that when our monkeys are grooming each other, they're really searching for parasites or bugs like fleas and ticks and flies. And don't get me wrong, they would happily eat any of those disgusting things off of each other, but it's really not their main concern at all, especially with this species who are relatively clean because of their proximity to the water and also usually free of most of those parasites. Now what they're searching for so diligently are little flakes of dandruff. The salt from their sweat is just constantly absorbed into those dandruff particles, and then the sun makes them nice and crispy, and that's just the most delicious salty little snack that a Java monkey can get his hands on. And he's looking around and there's just a bunch of sweat chips everywhere. But it's more social than that. It ties right back into this whole structure where it's like quality time for them. They're just going to groom each other more and more throughout their lives. And it's really going to help to cement the bonds between each of the animals in this troop. Now, our Javas here at Monkey Jungle live about 20 to 25 years. Males reach maturity around 5 to 8. Females a little bit earlier, 3 to 5. Once mature, a female could have up to 6 to 8 infants throughout her entire lifetime. But they usually only give birth to one at a time in about the months of May through September after a 6-month gestation period. I'm sure you guys have all noticed that cute little baby running around here. If you haven't seen him, right in the center to the right of the waterfall, you'll see that rock and the mom is hanging onto him nice and tight there and he's getting some milk. Now, what you'll probably notice is that his fur looks nothing like anybody else around him. Don't worry, he was not adopted. It's called the natal coat. What happens is that they come out with that black fur. The rest of the troop sees that and knows that baby's brand new. And she automatically becomes one of the most privileged and protected members of the entire troop, regardless of her rank beforehand, which gives those moms much better access to both food and socialization at the point when it's most critical for her and her brand new baby. Now that'll go on for about 6 months or so. Meanwhile, the coat color on that infant will be gradually changing every single day, and he'll just start to look more and more like a little version of everybody else. Like I said, though, it is a marker. The rest of the troop will see and detect the color change on the infant's coat. Then both mom and baby would lose those special privileges they were granted and reassume their role in the hierarchy, wherever mom was ranked before. And translation for mom is pretty simple. Her food won't be coming as easily as it was, so she'll start to wean that little baby. And it's just by about 9 or 10 months of age that they have to learn to become fully independent and go on a diet of nothing but solid food. Now, solid food for them could be almost anything. They're omnivores. As I mentioned earlier, they got that name from eating shellfish, and you see them enjoying their fruits and veggies out here. But we've discovered one of their favorite treats of all to be chicken eggs. Today they're hard-boiled. Not always, but sometimes we like to give them a little treat. So what we're going to, everybody's standing up anyway, get your cameras pointed towards these eggs. We're going to get a little motivating action going on here. Guys, while we're waiting for someone else to grab this egg, if you have any questions at all, I'd be more than happy to answer those for you now.
How often do the alphas rotate?
Very rare. All of our alphas are 5 years plus at this point. It's basically, they're going to rule the majority of their adult life. And then as they start to physically decline, the next biggest, baddest, youngest male will take the whole thing away from them.
And how long?
Is it more or less a violent?
In the wild, it's life and death. Here, we get some retirements because we've got so much food everywhere. The alpha is smart enough to realize that over the time he's been here, and when he's about to, lose his troop, he's going to go up. All right, man, go ahead. I can eat. Whereas in the wild, the loser is never going to go, I can just eat somewhere else. He's going to push it until he dies, basically. We double the male's lifetime, so they only live about 10 or 12 years in the wild.
Do you have any former alphas?
Yeah, Patches is still hanging out. He's like 27. He's an old man. Yeah, he's in Cliff Strip. He doesn't show up too often to show anymore, but he's around and healthy for an old guy.
How long has he been retired?
It depends. They just have to make sure he didn't want to go for it first. He doesn't have to get anything, but he has the first right. So if he's sitting there, you will believe that the other ones are all going to look to him to see, is it okay? It's the decision to go get the food. They're not going to bring him anything.
Another time, Mark was sitting here, I was going stuff to him, and then somebody else came and he just quietly got up and left.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a violent thing. It's just the pecking order, the ones that are smart follow the rules, and when a bigger one comes, they just split. And they all, like I said, they all eat eventually. The big ones
Hi,
get the good
Jakey.
stuff, and then they kind of, from there goes.
Yes, buddy.
The ones.
How long did you
You want water? Okay, I'll get you some in a second, buddy.
They would eat eggs in a while, but they wouldn't be hard boiled, obviously. And they don't have to be. We like to hard boil them because then when they show them, the monkey that swims to get it gets the whole thing. Whereas if the monkey that swims and gets a non-boiled egg, cracks it open, and a lot of times they lose a lot of the egg out of there. So we like to reward them for really good, taking that effort to go swimming for us because we need that for the show. That girl just got it right there. I've been in this facility for a year, but I've been working with animals my whole life.
How can you easily tell the males from the females?
From a distance, if you can't see their gens, you're going to look at their face.
Yeah, buddy.
The adult females, like her with the egg right
What's
there,
that?
she's got that huge bushy beard looking, she looks like me basically.
You're awesome.
And then the adult males, the real heavy fur stops almost at a mustache line, like right at their upper lip. The adult males are going to be almost double the size of the adult females. And that's pretty much the only way. The sub-adult males and the adult females are difficult to tell apart because the males haven't matured yet, so they don't have that mustache, and they're about the same size and skinny. As they mature, it's easy when you see the big male. You know who the big males are basically. Yep. And what's that right there?
we have to go somewhere else.
Yep.
The next show of the day will be at 3:15 at the orangutan exhibit. The fastest way to get there is straight down this path. You hang it right at the end. You can actually see the structure from here if you look through the bushes to your right, but you got plenty of time in any direction. Thank you, guys.
Yep, we have about a 75 or 80% male to female ratio. Because, like I said, in the wild, the males fight and fight and fight and then kill each other so fast. The species has evolved to having more males than females because the females outlive them by miles. But here, where the males live forever, and they're, comparatively, we have lots of guys running around.
So do you find like dead monkeys anywhere?
Sometimes.
Oh, gross.
These monkeys are so cool.
Yeah, a lot of them. What was that?
Oh, I went for a dip.
The mother will be the full-time caretaker. The males will defend all the babies. They won't. The big males won't go and hurt any of the little ones. They'll protect anything from the outside as an enemy because they never know who the father is. Because as you can see, they all try to be the father. So it serves them best as a species for the males to guard everybody. And then your ranks are all based on mom because they all know your mom. They saw you, so they know it's mom.
So in this area, they are guarding the babies against.
We have 3 troops total.
So one troop against the other troop.
Right.
Okay.
And what'll happen is all the rules are based on a strictly wild population. Our group is pretty wild, but like I said, the food throws a lot of it off. So our troops are not as combative as they would be in the wild. They won't mix together. They are not friends by any means. But like I said, they know there's food elsewhere, so rather than put themselves in danger and fight all the time, they kind of just shift around each other. But there's 3 separate troops on the property with no physical division. It's all social. And in the wild, they would bang heads all day long and kill each other. Here, like I said, they just kind of go, when Clyde's group's here, those groups at the kitchen, Tiki's out at the fence at the feeder boxes. When Clyde's group, when Cliff wants to come here, Tiki will sneak somewhere to the kitchen, these guys go into the and they just kind of rotate around. That's not saying they don't ever mix and fight, because they fight over more than food, but the food is the main thing in the wild that really drives them to hurt each other. Yeah, it was all their own thing. They started as a group of 6 and then multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. And as they got more and more and more, a young male thought he could control the females well enough and get enough food. He split off. There was 2 troops for a really long time. It was just in the last few years that Tiki troops grown.
About how many are in your group typically?
It's all different. Our guys, we have Tiki's the smallest, a little less than 15. These guys are about almost 50, and then Cliff's got like 60-ish. They're probably closer to 40 than 50.
Well, that other troop that's only got 15 in it, they wouldn't try and just kind of take them after him.
Nope. Tiki is big alpha male. He doesn't think he needs their help to get him. He doesn't. I mean, that's why he's got them, because the females think he's providing them with enough protection and food that they stick with him, and the young males growing up guard Tiki and all the females, and so they just. And like I said, our guys don't fight that much. So if they were battling all the time, a group of 12 would not fight. They wouldn't last. The males would get swarmed, and the females would assimilate into the big troop. But like I said, they can get away with it because he can sneak off into the bushes and go find a pile of food somewhere.
They all have names or what?
We name any with a permanent physical characteristic, no matter what age, we'll name them. Just because there's one named Van Gogh because his ear got bit off when he was a baby. It'll never grow back. It's always going to be Van Gogh that's missing his ear. So we name him something that kind of associated with the injury or the marking or whatever. If they're normal macaque stuff, no injuries, no scars, no broken fingers, just plain normal macaque, we wait until they show some kind of role in the hierarchy because it switches so much as well. And like I said, they all look exactly the same until they start to grow up a little bit and get some characteristics you can ID.
Dad, maybe
So the young ones normally, you just know how many infants, how many juveniles, how many sub-adults, male, female, this and that.
Here's lightning. Lightning's in my pocket, Jake.
All the big guys have names, all the high rank ones.
So do you guys go through here and kind of look to make sure everything's okay?
Yep, I'm in here all day, every day. And I don't go in there and play with them, but I do. I drop the food off at the buckets and the cleaning and maintaining pathways so I can have access through the property and stuff like that. And they just put up with me. I don't feed them or fight them or anything, so I'm just there. They don't know any better.
I think the monkeys ever cleaned out your vet, or they're all just in the wild?
We have a vet, but usually they don't need them. Honestly, you'll see some injuries from the fights and stuff, and it's difficult to manage. So I'm not gonna lie to you. Every injury is gonna be an individual decision, and we let a lot of stuff go that in a different scenario you treat medically. But being out here and with that social structure, you have to take it all into consideration. So we'll look. Number one, if it's life and death, obviously we're gonna intervene. Number two, if it's like a cut, you can't really stitch them. They'll pull them out. You can't put ointment in there. They'll just eat it. So if it's not infected, it may look bad, but we're gonna let it go. They groom each other so much that they rarely even get infections. To be honest with you. Then if we do see an infection, my first defense is oral meds. So I can go, like I said, I do go in there all the time. I find the one that's hurt and make sure he gets all of the meds, and if that treats it, that treats it. Then as far as if it's something really, really bad, there's consequences you have to consider. Say one of these big males, that is young but worked his way up into the top 10. It's taken him 10 years to get there. If I pull him out and treat him medically for a week or two, whatever, how long the injury takes to heal, when I put him back in, if he was 8, number 9 is 8, number 10 is 9, number 11 is 10. And they're not going to want to go back down to 9, 10, 11 with this guy coming in, and you can literally do them to death if you let him go back in. It doesn't always have to be that way, but if it's a high-ranked male, they're not going to welcome him back after he's been gone for that long. And so like I said, it's difficult, and you will see injury today. But it'll mostly be little bites that every 20 minutes you're going to hear a fight, and it's just a result of their lifestyle. Yeah, they fight. I'm telling you, every 20 minutes you'll hear a big skirmish. Yeah, they just display to each other. You hear them slam their hands and feet on top of the roof because it makes a lot of noise. They'll grab the fence line and shake them because they can see it. It's all just saying, I'm Big Dad Monkey. Look at me. That's all they're all about. Like even that little guy right now is practicing. He's shaking the top of the tree. When he grows up, he's going to be a big scary monkey shaking the tree, and the other monkey's going to go, oh, don't mess with that guy. They're called Java Macaques. Yeah, they always, that's what I was saying, they always show off. They constantly show it off. It makes everyone know how big and bad they are.
It doesn't matter. Both of them are mine.
She's got a camera.
Yep, it's either excitement just from seeing you and getting some attention, or they're trying to figure out a way to get food from you.